Hey again, everyone. It's Tyler Cavalli, Jacob Roth, along with you as we're here in Ashland, Nebraska at Ruhlman Steakhouse. It's our latest stop of KRVN's Sizzling across Nebraska. Thanks to our great sponsors, the Nebraska Beef Council, Dawson County Cattlemen, Cross Diamond Cattle, Cross Diamond Meats in Bertrand, and of course the Dawson County and Nebraska Cattlemen once again for sponsoring our Red Meat Road Trip. This is, again, doing some research ahead of time, a new spot. But that's one of the cool things, again, about the Passport is you have established areas and new locations.
Yeah, right off Highway 6. So if you're coming from McCook and are just feeling like going all the way here, you can stay on Highway 6 the whole time. But right off Highway 6 here in Ashland, like you said, a newer spot. Excited to kind of learn a little bit more and see what the overall situation is, and just excited to go inside.
All right, so let's head into Ruhlman Steakhouse here in Ashland, Nebraska. All right, we are back here at Ruhlman Steakhouse here in Ashland, Nebraska, part of our KRVN's Sizzling Across Nebraska Red Meat Road Trip. We're talking with Phil Ruhlman, who is the owner here of Ruhlman Steakhouse. And Phil, you have a great spot here. You guys are relatively new. You guys have been here for a year and a month at this point. But let's talk about how this all got started.
Well, I'm from a large family. I grew up in Ogallala, Nebraska. I worked for Gallup for 32 years. I was the head of technology for 20 and then head of global sales for 12 years. I knew I was going to be leaving Gallup at some point. So I fell in love with this little town, have a house out on Sandy Point Lake. And I said, if I could create an environment, a restaurant, an experience in this town, it's sitting halfway between Lincoln and Omaha. The land became available. One of my brothers, Mark, has been in real estate his entire life. The other brother, I've got 6 brothers. The other brother, Matt's been in construction his whole life. And I said, if I found the land, would you join me in buying the land and the real estate? And they said we would. We don't want anything to do with the restaurant. So we found these 6 acres right on Highway 6, halfway between Lincoln and Omaha. And then we went forward in designing what a restaurant would be like. And then we had additional space. There's 22,000 square feet of retail on this land. Bryan Hospital out of Lincoln called us and said, we want to be in Ashland. And we said, we've got a perfect spot for you. They are a great partner on the spot, full physician services. Then Family Physical Therapy said they like to be next to Bryan, so they took 1,200 square feet. And then Runza, the ultimate Nebraska fast food location, said we want to be on the site. So that's our development. I own the restaurant, 12,000 square feet. My brother Paul joined us from Ogallala after 50 years. He moved down. He runs the meat market. I'll talk about that more. We've been open a year and a month, and Ashland has been very good to us. I say Ashland, Lincoln, Omaha, Gretna, Waverly, Greenwood have all been very good to us.
So talk about, you grew up in western Nebraska, obviously, Ogallala area. Did you come from an ag background, and if so, did that have an impact of running now what is a steakhouse?
I did not. However, my mother's side of the family, she grew up in Tekamah, Nebraska. Her dad, my grandfather, and his brothers owned farms, ranches, sale barns across the entire state of Nebraska. They were very big into the beef business. They even went up into Montana. My grandfather's sister, Genevieve, married a Keneally out of Decatur. Ted Keneally and Genevieve had a son, Marty Keneally, who started a ranch. He and his wife Donnie started a ranch in western Nebraska, Whitman, very, very large Black Angus ranch. Yep. Cousins of mine, and when I wanted to put together a steakhouse, and again, we helped in Ogallala. A great summer job, a great job for high school kids was helping on farms. So we drove, my brother Paul and I drove a lot of really great tractors and did a lot of farming. Never involved actually in the farming industry other than getting a paycheck. So I said to my cousin Hannah Keneally, who's one of the best marketers and nicest people you'd ever meet in your life, I'm going to open a restaurant and I want to have exclusively Keneally beef, Black Angus beef, which is phenomenally has a great taste. She said, Phil, you have no idea what you're talking about. That'll never work. She said, you don't understand what happens when you buy a head of cattle and all that you have to do to make that work. And I said, then teach me. She said, okay, but I don't think you're going to actually understand it. So she started to teach me. We spent the first entire year buying 8 head of cattle a week. And in order to do that, to buy 8 head of cattle a week, you had to have a place for all of the extra hamburger, all the grind. Well, then we signed a contract with Hy-Vee, 27 stores, to move all that extra hamburger to the Hy-Vee stores in frozen patties, 1/3 pound patties. So in the first year, we had all the steak we needed for the steakhouse. We moved all of the extra hamburger to Hy-Vee's. It was a remarkable operation that Hannah taught me how to do that. She didn't actually think I could pull it off, but she taught me, and we did. What I found was the logistics of doing all of that with this amazing Keneally beef became a distraction from running a great restaurant of extreme excellence, because you've got so many things going on. So I reduced it dramatically and pulled out of all of the Hy-Vee's. We sell all of the hamburger now in our own meat market. We move a lot of it. It's very high quality. Focus on a restaurant with extreme excellence and high quality food. Do that right. Pull people in from Lincoln, Omaha, Gretna, Waverly, Ashland, Greenwood, and celebrate a restaurant that people can come to dressed however they want to dress. A lot of people worry it's a steakhouse, we have to dress up. Just come as you are. Affordable, high quality food in, I think, a beautiful environment. That's what I wanted to create, and I believe we're there.
And I imagine it's probably amazing, too, for a lot of people that come here knowing that, oh, this is truly Nebraska beef. I mean, it can't get any more Nebraska than what you have here.
It does not get any more Nebraska. And it's also this Black Angus, certified Black Angus beef has such a rich taste and such a great marbling. And we also have an incredible dry aging cabinet. And we take the tomahawks, the cowboy ribeyes, the New York strips, and dry age them for up to another, after 18 days of wet age, we add another 25 days of dry aging. That meat just falls apart in your mouth. And it's taking a very high quality Keneally Angus beef and turning it into even something more superior. People love it.
And you were talking about wanting to create the environment that feels like a steakhouse but is welcoming. And when we walked in, I even was like, oh no, I put my jeans on today, I didn't have my nice. But then you walk in and you do see that everyone is just dressed how they are and they came as they are. Talk about the impact of obviously having all these area communities. And you got the big Lincoln and the big Omaha, but a lot of smaller communities around Ashland as well have to be kind of feeding into this as well.
Well, when I put together my business model, I realized that the city of Ashland, town of Ashland, is growing and it's exploding. They put in $60 million of new schools, and it is a very vibrant community. And the downtown area of Ashland is remarkable. It's beautiful. But then around it, you've got Iron Horse Golf Course with 200 homes. You've got Sandy Point Lake with 220 homes. You've got Lake Allure and Lake Thomas with about 200 homes. You've got Big Sandy with 250 homes. So you've got a community all within 7 miles of my front door of people that enjoy high quality food. Great, we've got an incredible wine list. You're not going to find that in many places in the area. Great wine list, great food, an incredible steak, also a 20-layer short rib lasagna that will blow your mind. So great food. But I spent 32 years at Gallup traveling around the world, and I had an unbelievable job. Gallup was very, very good to me. But I got to go to some of the finest restaurants in the world, and also some of the finest restaurants in Omaha. And they are remarkable. Omaha is a wonderful, wonderful restaurant community. Many of them, not all, many of them are so expensive that unless your company's paying or that a client's paying, you're not going to go more than a couple times a year. And you will have a great meal when you do that, but you can't afford to go often. So I said, what if we created an environment with exceptional food, a great wine list, welcoming environment that you can come dressed to the nines or you can come dressed in jeans and shorts at a price where you could come once a week? What if we could do that? And I believe we have. we've created now, for example, you're going to get a 10-ounce filet for under $50 with 2 sides. You're going to get a 16-ounce ribeye for under $50 with 2 sides. You're going to get incredible food at a price that you can bring your friends, your relatives, your neighbors, enjoy an incredible meal with a great bottle of wine at a price where you can come back as often as you want to.
Again, we're talking to Phil Ruhlman, who is owner of Ruhlman Steakhouse here in Ashland. As again, it's part of KRVN Sizzling across Nebraska. We did try the cowboy ribeye. It was fantastic. But it's interesting, too, because you mentioned with all the different steaks that you guys have going on, that with it being a red meat road trip, we want to dive into what other things you have on the menu that obviously is Nebraska beef. Tell us more.
Well, I mean, we've got this unbelievable smash burger that I would put it up against any hamburger, any hamburger in the area or outside the area. I think it is a truly exceptional hamburger, steak burger. It's pure steak. We already talked about the dry aging, and then you talk about the just our off of the menu, the 6 and the 10-ounce filet. You've got the 16-ounce ribeye. We also have amazing walleye. I grew up in Ogallala, and we ate a lot of walleye out of Lake McConaughey. Trust me. But this isn't from Lake McConaughey. But my brother Paul, if he could bring it in, catch it, and bring it in, he would. But this is exceptional walleye. We've got a 20-layer short rib lasagna that, again, short rib right out of the cattle we're buying. It is a great meal, a great bite, a great taste. And we have our own bourbon. We support an incredible distillery, Sideshow, which is a part of Kincaidor, from Broken Bow. Cody Schmick is a great friend. So we have their beer on tap. They make a Ruhlman lager for us. So we celebrate Cody all the time and his Kincaidor and Sideshow. But we have Ruhlman lager from Kincaidor. We have our own Ruhlman bourbon, of which we've sold over 1,200 bottles of. It's a Sideshow bourbon. It's an amazing 4-grain bourbon, 96 proof. I decorate the inside with the barrels that we get from Sideshow and Kincaidor. So we offer, and we also go into our retail market, our meat market. Yeah. Buy the beef, buy our wine. We've got our own wine, our own red, Ruhlman red, and our Chardonnay. People say, okay, from Nebraska, and I'm saying, no, it's from Napa Valley. It's Rutherford red. It's a great house red, and a Chardonnay. We've got our own beer, as I said, the lager. We've got all the beef for sale. We've got great packages for game day, for your tailgates, the burgers, the meatballs, the chicken wings. So we offer a really nice retail store run by my brother Paul. It's a family deal. I may be the owner of this place, but almost all family members are doing something. We have our own line of spice, 6 different spices called R Factor that my brother Tom created, and he also still works for Gallup. It's a family. It's a passion of love. It's a great sense of food and welcoming for people to come in and feel comfortable and have a good meal.
Lots of great things going on there. You obviously touched on the meat market. If someone's coming to get their passport stamped, you've got to buy something that's beef. And we'll focus on the restaurant side here first. What is the one thing, obviously you talked about a lot of different options, but someone's coming in, they're going to stamp their passport here as time's winding down. What should they get here from Ruhlman Steakhouse?
Well, I mean, the 1/3 steak patties are amazing. People get a little nervous. They're frozen, yeah, but that maintains a high quality right as soon as we grind it. We freeze it very fast. Our ribeyes in our fresh meat cabinet are incredible. It's a great buy. So, those 2 things, or we have our own Ruhlman meat sticks. They're Keneally Angus meat sticks we have made out of Wahoo Locker. Charlie in Wahoo does a great job. So we've got a lot of options for you to buy beef-wise. We've got incredible brisket sitting there at a great price. And there's nothing better on a smoker than a 12-pound brisket. So we offer a lot of options for people that love beef and fresh beef and high-quality beef. if you were to come to Ruhlman's, you're going to get an opportunity to experience Nebraska beef at its finest, fresh or frozen, or come in and eat it as you did with the cowboy ribeye, made for you with a couple sides. And I highly recommend the Parmesan stuffed potatoes or the $1 Million mushrooms. They are phenomenal.
I wanted to get the mushrooms, but someone here doesn't like mushrooms, so I wasn't able to make that work.
They're one of the best things on the menu.
We did get the potatoes, and those were
Fantastic.
an experience of the highest
We
degree.
make about 1,000 of them a week.
That makes
I believe
sense.
that.
Yeah.
I believe that. As we wrap things up, why was it important for you to be a part of the Nebraska Beef Passport program and continue to support Nebraska beef?
Well, I think Nebraska beef is a very high quality cut above, excuse the pun, but above many other beef options that are out there. I grew up in the state. I've lived in the state my whole life. The first half of my life I was in Norfolk. Then my dad decided we'd move to Ogallala my sophomore year of high school. Spent the second half of my life in Ogallala. 9 kids in our family. So I've experienced both ends of the state. I've lived in this end of the state after graduating from the University of Nebraska in 1979-80. Nebraska is a state of extreme passion and pride and energy and great food. I love celebrating the state of Nebraska, and this program allowed us to do one more thing.
If somebody wanted to come in, again, as we're winding down with the passports, so maybe it's outside of that range, but just to check out Ruhlman Steakhouse, talk about where you guys are located, the hours, the times, or the days, and then not only here at the steakhouse, but the meat market as well.
The meat market is open Tuesday through Sunday from 10 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock. The restaurant itself is only open Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 11 o'clock for lunch, from 11 to 2. Then we close down for a couple hours for our employees, get off their feet, reopen at 4, and go till 9 or 10 o'clock at night. And then on Sunday we have this amazing plated brunch, unbelievable brunch from 11 to 2 o'clock. You're not going to find a better brunch anywhere. And then the steakhouse reopens at 4 o'clock Sunday night. So we offer a lot of hours. We've got a beautiful bar, a lot of great drinks. We've got our Kincaidor on tap beer, which is some of the finest beer you're going to find anywhere. We're right in the middle of Ashland, 603 US Highway 6, right on the highway in Ashland. It's easy to get to. It's 20 minutes to Lincoln, 20 minutes to Omaha. It's close. It's a nice drive. We welcome everybody to come in and see what we built. I grew up in a large family. Our house was always open to everybody. This is my new house. This is where I live. I welcome everybody when they walk in the door. Hopefully I see you all when you come in and welcome you at your table and say thank you for eating at Ruhlman's.
Perfect way to end it. That is, again, Phil Ruhlman, who is the owner here of Ruhlman Steakhouse in Ashland. It is our latest stop of KRVN Sizzling across Nebraska.
Yeah.
All right, we're just outside of Ruhlman Steakhouse. Our bellies are full. We got to sample pretty much everything that they have going on here in Ashland, Nebraska. It's, again, part of our red meat road trip. But first off, it was the biggest steak we've had. What a way to kind of end this whole thing.
It does feel like a good punctuation mark on what has been a very, very fun red meat road trip. We'll do a recap of this whole crazy experience later, but really, really cool stop here. A great steak. And again, everything, it let the beef do the talking, which is a thing that sometimes when you get to the fancy steakhouses, they try to do too much. They over-season or they throw fancy butters on it or all these things, and those are great. But when you've got great beef and you let the beef do the talking, things didn't turn out pretty well.
Another aspect I really enjoyed in talking to Phil of Ruhlman Steakhouse is that he was new to this, but when he was going to do a steakhouse, embraced true Nebraska beef. And it doesn't, when you hear from, farm to fork, what's that saying?
Yeah.
That is the case here at Ruhlman Steakhouse.
No, and have the family relation and to kind of do his best to learn everything from, obviously, being from Ogallala, having a little bit of an ag background in terms of doing it over the summers, but then having all the Keneally beef. Obviously, that's a name that a lot of folks are going to recognize. Really, really cool thing that they've got going on here. And as someone that loves a good deal, the fact that he's, hey, I want it to be a place that people can come once a week, and it's not going to break the bank. It's not going to be it doesn't have to be a place that's only for anniversaries. It's going to be a steakhouse that you can enjoy week in and week out if you want to. And if I was closer, I probably would. I mean, it was
seriously.
well worth it. Really cool experience, and definitely will be bringing the wife out here sometime if we swing back east.
You can also check out Ruhlman Steakhouse. Again, even though the passport is nearly over, you can always check out them at any time. Again, they're right off Highway 6 here in Ashland. Another great stop once again, thanks to our great sponsors, the Nebraska Cattlemen, the Dawson County Cattlemen, Cross Diamond Cattle, Cross Diamond Meats in Bertrand, and of course the Nebraska Beef Council, who's putting on the Nebraska Beef Passport Program. So a great stop here at Ruhlman Steakhouse in Ashland. Jacob Roth and Tyler Cavalli for KRVN's Sizzling Across Nebraska.